Imagine this. You're in a business meeting and the meeting is in English. You don't trust yourself, but your manager said you need to share your opinions with others. You barely managed to say 3 sentences with a quiver in your voice. Your manager intervened and corrected your sentences. You started to feel even worse. This could be a very probable situation for most of us, right? But why does this happen? Why do we feel this way? Couldn't our manager correct us after the meeting? Couldn't we handle the situation better? The answers are yes, but it is what it is. We can only work on how we feel and how we act in these situations. And let's get started with changing ourselves. How are we going to do this? Let's talk about it. First, we should understand the situation. In social settings, there is always a power struggle. Some people have some leverage over us, and we have some leverage over others. But the equilibrium is always dynamic. Sometimes we, sometimes others want to shift the power dynamic and challenge others. We generally do it with learning and performing different skills. For example, we learn singing well and our friend listens to us for the first time. He likes the way we sing, and this changes the power dynamic in between us and our friend. Now we have leverage over him. Or in another situation, let's say we go skiing and our friend knows skiing well, but we don't. That means our friend has leverage over us. Even if we don't consciously acknowledge these kinds of social cues, our monkey brain does, and we act accordingly. When we try to change this equilibrium, there is a change in the social dynamic and our relationship is redefined partially. When this definition or redefinition is taking place, some people might take it as a threat and they can act offensively. That's why your manager corrected your speaking in front of others, even though there is no chance of your being misunderstood or something like that. They wanted to show off and prove that they have leverage over you. I know it's stupid, but as I said, it is what it is. When you know this, you can act accordingly. Most people feel bad in these kinds of situations, and because of this, they don't want to speak English in public. When we talk about these specific examples with my students that they go through, I want them to focus on themselves, not others. When you focus on your own emotions and thoughts, you see you want to change them. If you focus on your manager's behavior, your energy to change yourself is wasted. You want to speak English in public fluently and comfortably. You got to learn to be fluent and comfortable. So focus on learning those. Your manager intervenes and you now know why. I explained. Can you change it? No. Then why are you focusing on others' behavior? You should think like, whatever the case is, I'm going to take the opportunity to speak English in front of others because I know this is the only way of learning to speak fluently and confidently. After all, you cannot learn to ski without skiing, right? In the worst case scenario, your manager warned you about your mistakes that you made while speaking English and you got nervous, actually angry this time. First things first, ask yourself this question. Why? Why do I have this negative feeling now? Why can't I control it? I know my manager is threatened by me because he's stupid. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that all the managers are stupid, but this one in this example is. The one in the example cannot use his brain while acting. He acts impulsively and irresponsibly. Ask yourself this question. Why am I making the same mistake? Because when you're angry with your manager, you're acting just as impulsively and irresponsibly as him. Calm yourself down and talk with him when you are cool and say this. Look, I respect you and I know I'm making some mistakes, but I'm doing my best. If you don't want me to take floor in the meetings, then I can stop. This is confrontation. Sometimes we need to do this, but this is the last resort. By the way, this is a very minimal chance, but you can always do this when things go sour. In another example, let's say you want to attend a meeting with some expats with one of your friends. The moment you start talking, your friend's face starts to change. She seems to find your speaking funny or cringe maybe, but she doesn't tell you anything. First of all, this is very unlikely, but let's say it happened. Second, even if it was real, you should know that you're at the beginning of your learning journey. As you try to speak more English, you'll learn more, and yes, some people might think you don't speak English well, but it's their problem. Why would you seek validation from people who aren't even supportive in the first place? Last but not least, I should tell you I've been in English-speaking environments in the last 20 years of my life. I've been abroad as well, and I'm making mistakes while speaking in front of the camera. I've never seen anyone criticizing others because their English is bad. I've even never heard people gossiping about it. You're afraid of being criticized because you're constantly criticizing yourself. Take it easy and accept your vulnerability in this situation and say, I'm learning. It takes time and patience. Okay, if you like this video, my friend, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. Also share your ideas with me in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.